All right, we're here today with Max Menzel, who just had an excellent run on the PSPC. And before that, he was in Manila, who won a ticket. Max, how do you look back on your road to PSPC Manila?
I think, the whole time started last year, September. I went with a few friends and guys who I coached to Manila to play the event there. And as a normal series, you don't expect the win or so, right? But I had a good run. I think I played pretty well. I had a very good final table, very dominating, and I think I deserved the win in the end. Yeah, and then the time started to wait until the PSPC event, actually. It was 3 grueling months because there's a big event coming, big trip coming. Living in Singapore, so it's basically a trip around the world to go to the Bahamas with 13 hours time difference and so on. So I was preparing to get physically fit for this trip. I felt I studied enough. I didn't need to focus so much on the game itself, GTO stuff. But I put focus on physical fitness and just being ready for a long trip. And that was my preparation.
Okay. And then, of course, at the PSPC, we know how it went. You came in second eventually, having a very nice cash of about 3 million. How would you say the game at PSPC is different from, let's say, the game that you played in Manila?
Well, that's a good question. First, I was preparing a little actually for this because I expected more overbet spots, more spots that I'm not used to in like low and middling tournaments that I used to play in Asia, because you play against the best opposition in the world, right? The best guys. What was really helping on day one, I had Justin Bonham on my table, so world number 1 in cashes, right? And I battled with him unplanned, so it was not that I wanted to, I came into a lot of spots with him, and I was not in any spot surprised. So that gave me very early a confidence boost to say, like, these guys are also I know what they're doing. And he had some overbet spots, I had some overbet spots. So it was like, we were just trading pots quite a bit. So overall, it was very interesting because it was a completely mixed field. There were people money scared on day one. They just were overwhelmed from all the cameras and stuff like that. And then, of course, the whole poker elite. And you had to really navigate throughout the whole days because you had that mixed field throughout all the time. So you need to find the soft spots on your table and who's spelling back. And that made it super interesting because it was not a homogeneous field, in a way.
Yeah. You think in level of play, a big difference from the mid-stakes games, so to say?
To be very honest, I didn't experience it that way, to be very honest, because I felt in some fields in Asia, the level has increased quite a bit over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
People well studied. So for example, in the PSPC, there were certainly players that are worse than the average player here. And that was the majority of the Platinum Pass winners, I think, didn't get, they won the pass, not through playing, but through some other competition that didn't need to qualify through winning a poker tournament or something. And that's what made it interesting. But of course, in average, the level was higher, yes.
Yeah, but not astounding that you were very surprised, like, okay, now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I just didn't end up in super tough spots. I was lucky enough in the first 5 days, I don't know, but it was my very own impression. Maybe I was just expecting a lot more like wizard moves, that I was not prepared for, but it didn't come up against me. So I was confident that it was a good run.
If someone ever has a chance on getting a pass as well, and they go there, what would you recommend for them how to prepare, how to get ready for it? I mean, there's a few things that you've done, but now that you've played?
Yeah, I mean, just repeating what I have been doing, I think it paid off, certainly, how I've prepared for. So I think, you cannot in a short time get up to speed on all the GTO stuff, that you need to have your baseline. If you don't have that, it's going to be difficult anyway. So if you're a bit rounded player already, I would not focus so much in the short term on becoming a better player or playing spots better. I really would focus on the stuff around because that's so important. You go on a very far trip. It's certainly different time zone. You're in a very different environment with all the cameras. When I'm not used to play in front of cameras, prepare mentally for that is quite important. Just having the mindset going in there to battle, and it's just a poker tournament. Although you play against the best in the world, I think it's easier said, but very important to really internalize and just don't have fear for anything. So it's not really the game itself I would focus on in preparing, it's really the whole
surroundings. Everything around it, that makes it tough, especially for the new ones.
Yeah.
Jumping back to the road to PSPC in Manila, at the final 3, you were all in with Ace-5 versus Jack-Jack, and the turn delivered your ace. Do you have any hands where you look back at throughout this experience? Perhaps this hand?
Not this one, because I think we were three-handed, and yes, the guy was opening rather. I remember the hand. So the guy was rather tight. But I still felt that with my stack, I can apply a lot of pressure. The hand is too weak to call, so I decided to go for a shove. I'm blocking top of his range, and of course, sometimes you hit with an overcard. But I do remember another hand. So they were actually, in comparison to the PSPC, on the PSPC itself, I was one time all in and being behind the entire tournament, which I think was a bit of an achievement. But on the road to PSPC, I was twice all in and pretty far behind. And so I was lucky twice, basically. So there was one hand pretty soon after the bubble bust, and I was all in with ace-king suited versus kings.
Yeah.
And I made a flush. And the guy still texting me and congratulating me, and actually invited me to his wedding. So he remembers very well that I busted him. Yeah, he's a cool guy. And the other hand was very early on the final table. I was on with 9s against 10s, so I sucked out. I hit a 9 on the turn. So yeah, I think you need to get lucky in a way to win tournaments. But yeah, I was more lucky on the road to PSPC than at the PSPC itself.
Or you also believe for you it's destined to win that ticket, destined to get this far, or you think it's just variance, part of the game?
Yes, no, I mean, there's no entitlement in poker. I think it's very, very important to have your ego in check, that you not feel, even you feel you have an edge, you see people making sizing errors, or you're not playing spots properly. The ego has to go out of your way. This is part of my coaching, of course, also to the guys. It's really important to stay humble. There have been very good players who are crushing for some time, but not in the long run, because they got their ego in the way at one point. And if you're a long time in this game, you understand the variance and you understand the luck factor, and you just embrace it. And therefore it's certainly no entitlement. Although I felt I was the most accomplished player on the final table. So there was the chip leader, for example, he was sitting on my left from the beginning of the final table. And I went into the final table saying, I'm super handcuffed in my position. With my stack size, I was middling in stacks, but he allowed me to take over the table. So he could put me in the cage, really. And I told him later, it's like, you allowed me to win this one because I was really going after it, and he didn't put me in the cage. So yeah, I think these kind of things, you see that people maybe not do the right decisions, but it doesn't mean I should win the tournament, right? So.
Interesting. We know you're also working another job. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a bit more about the job? And does the job have any similarities to poker?
Well, I think rational decision making is certainly a virtue that helps.
Yeah.
But that's not comes through the job. That's maybe something I practice a bit, like not being influenced by emotion. But I actually practice more let's say on a stock market or something like that. But yeah, I'm working in logistics industry, freight forwarding. Actually for my entire career. So for 12 years. I started in China and then moved to Singapore. I like my job very much, and it was also from the beginning clear that I will not, quit my job just because I have a large score. Although of course I'm now more financially independent. But I like the place where we live in Singapore. I've experienced it as a privilege to be there, and the job allows me to travel quite a bit. That's nice because I can combine sometimes poker with travel, right? So I can have a business trip in the week and then play on the weekends.
Yeah.
And that's good because you really get around Asia. Yeah, so
it's a bit of it's best of both worlds.
Yeah, I said it before in another interview. I said I found my sweet spot because people were asking me, "Are you going to play more now after this win?"
Yeah.
And a little bit of a fame factor or so, or you play less. I said, I think I play neither more nor less. Yeah, so I play exactly that amount.
This is perfect.
Bit
of work, bit of playing, a bit of coaching.
Yes.
Balance, huh?
Yeah.
What made you decide to come to the WPT Prime here in Cambodia?
I was telling my my students as well. I was expecting this to be probably one of the 2 or 3 biggest events the whole year in Asia. So very early announced, WPT known for being very well organized and planned. So they announced that the schedule quite early. All the players' guides are out, right? So that's really good. And I felt like China's opening up, so probably a lot of guys from China come over. Didn't see as many as I expected, but I think the turnout was still great. I think everybody who has some accomplishments in Asia was showing up here. That was cool. So I like to battle with these guys. And I also enjoy Cambodia. It's the third time for me. It's an awesome city. You know, food is great. You know, you get around. Weather's always good. Massages you can get as great preparation for sessions, for long sessions, right, in the morning. So I think it's a perfect stop for a week or so. So it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree. And you will be back again later in this year as well? In Cambodia
probably not, no. I'm flag hunting a bit now, so I'm going to Korea. I want to go play Korea. I heard a lot of good stuff about the series there.
Yeah.
Then I play the WPT in Manila, which was part of the package I won back then.
Oh, it's part of it also. Okay.
Yeah. So there was 2 tickets somehow. And then second half of the year, I don't really know yet, so I'm not planning. But now I'm not like taking a break, but I will play not for 3 months because I have family commitments and stuff going on in Singapore. So yeah, the next time you're going to see me on the circuit will be in June.
I have a question on that. How do you stay sharp if you jump in and out every now and then? And because now you will take care of the family commitments for 3 months, then you jump back in a series.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it takes time to get sharp again, or it's quite easy to jump back into the rhythm?
That's a really great question because that's what I think makes my success in the past, I believe. Because I am showing up for every series I'm playing very, very well prepared. Rested, like studied, and with the right mindset. And I couldn't do this if I would play full time and basically travel from series to series. I take that very serious, and I also preach that a little bit to my guys because it's grueling. It's long, and I don't want to take decisions light. Even I play now still comparatively small buy-ins, but I take it serious, right? It's the bullet that you're in, and I just appreciate the game. Therefore, I know I couldn't handle such a schedule if I would play 2-3 series in a row. You need to take care of your sleep, of your rhythm, of your nutrition, and everything. And I feel it's a perfect rhythm, like once a month or once every 2 months, that you can build up that momentum and then go to a series and be there
and go for it. Yeah.
Actually, this series, I have to say, I was showing up, I was coughing a bit, so I was sick last week. Yeah. So physically maybe not as best prepared, but I just resting all the time in between the tournaments. So
you've also played for many years in Asia, as you've been saying as well. What is the biggest difference between the games in Asia versus Europe?
Oh, good question, but I cannot really say because I haven't played as much in Europe. I played cash game here and there, but I left Europe that early that I really can't say about the level of play now. So yeah, I really cannot answer.
No,
I don't know. I know the Asia circuit very well, but Europe, I will find out if I move ever back there.
What is the best advice that you're able to give to a mid-stakes player making their way into playing professionally?
Think twice of doing it. It's getting more and more difficult in poker to really make a living. The level of play gets a lot better. That's one advice. I'm not advocating against, but really be sure what comes with it. So it comes with, of course, a lot of upsides. You're free, right? You can travel and everything, but you have to deal with your health very well. Your body is your brain is your whole capital. So take care of it. Be good to your body. Take care of yourself. That you put yourself in the best spot to make good decisions. The other thing is like you need to keep costs in check. If you play mid-stakes, it's really important you're not overspending. You easily can harm your bankroll, and this is not a sustainable situation you're in. You cannot do this for your entire life, so you have to build a bankroll, build money that you can live later on from it. And that's important, so you have to have that mindset to continuously grow and move up. Otherwise, it maybe helps you for a certain period of time, but then one day you don't like the game anymore and you don't have something else, right? So and that's also part of the question I'm asking people. Say, you better ask yourself twice if you're ready for that. But when you decide for it, then it's all in. You're in there, and you study and take care of your body, do sport, and do the best you can. Yeah.
We know you're a big fan of Hertha BSC. How do you think they will do this year? Because they're not looking too good, huh?
Oh yes, I mean I was like I was born in the city. I played for that club, so there's no way out, right? So I have still friends there and so on. But we all say it with a smile that obviously they're not doing great for years, maybe decades. Yeah. And it has always been painful because in Germany there's no in the capital, right? There was never a good football club, right? And now the second club in Berlin is taking over with Union.
Union, yeah.
Despite Hertha having a lot of money for disposal. So yeah, it's more of a painful relationship, as many guys in Germany have with their club. And probably you're asking because I wear the jersey on the final table.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was a promise to a friend of mine. He asked, "Hey, if you do the final table, right?" It was before the tournament, so I say, like, yeah, that's pretty unrealistic, but maybe. So I took the jersey with me, and then it was there in the morning. I said, okay, I promised it, I have to wear it. Yeah. And I also thought it was helping. I don't do this cautiously, but I developed over the day 3 and day 4 play quite of a wild image that I was really fighting back. And because I had a few guys trying to run me over, and I was really battling, and it gave me this little extra thing, right? Guy showing up with a jersey, right? And I was confident there, and I was still ready to battle. So yeah, I just took it as was a promise. I took it, and it was fun. And I like to see me still there with the jersey. And
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, very nice. I think we're done. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for the time.